Hey friends, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of Launch Sequence Podcast. This week, I've got a great guest with me.
A great guest. That
great
introduction.
guest. Yeah, I mean, it was very simple, right? But it
Thank you very much.
sends the message. No, really though, Olli43, you've been doing videos, I think, longer than anybody else I've talked to. You've been in YouTube for a while. Recently started playing some Star Citizen though. So I wanted to bring you in and talk a little bit about the experience, kind of where you came from and all that stuff. How you doing today, though?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. And yes, I've had literally a lifetime on YouTube.
Yeah. You're at, on your main channel, you're at, like, what, 1.5 million subscribers? Something like that?
Close to 1.5 million subs.
Yeah. That's an army.
For like more than 10 years now. So
wow.
It's a lot.
Honestly, I kind of just want to dive right into that. I know people, we're going to talk about Star Citizen, folks, but I like to get some backstory first. Really, 10 years ago, YouTube was completely different. Were you like planning on making it a job at that point?
Well, we could go really far back, but basically, when I first started, making gaming videos, what it like required you to have like a partnership with another company before you could even make any money. And it was called Machinima at the time, and it was such a like elite thing. You had to like apply, there was like application, and a friend of mine did it. A guy called Pyrotos at the time did Call of Duty videos, and it's not like I wanted to ever make money from it or anything like that. I just thought it was really cool. So I just did it as like a fun hobby. Yeah. And it just kind of, it was fine. It did okay. And then I started making videos on GTA 5 news, like 3-4 years before it came out. And I ran a show called the GTA 5 Show, and it was literally just breaking down the screenshots and trailers and things like that.
Some speculation.
And then we got, like, to put it into perspective, I made a video, and I remember the title was like, will GTA 5 come out on the Xbox 720? Because at the time, we didn't know what the next console was. So, like, that just puts it into perspective how, like, far back that was.
Yeah.
And then we kind of got into gameplay, and then I did a video, it's on my main channel page. It's like the huge vertical ramp that ended up hitting like 23 million views like 6 years ago.
Holy crap.
So like we did mods and things like that, but and since then like GTA's moved to more like role playing and things like that. And honestly, I haven't really been interested in checking it out. I might check it out at some point. So I've been kind of playing a game called Planet Coaster, which is like a theme park building game. Because when I was younger, I used to love theme park building games.
You ever play did you play Roller Coaster Tycoon?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So I was a huge Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 fan and 3. So I dabbled in that for a while. And I took a break. And then Star Citizen. But we'll get onto that in a minute, I guess.
Sure, yeah. That's the Roller Coaster Tycoon. I'll hear music at like a fair or even just some random music, and immediately my mind will go to Roller Coaster Tycoon. So iconic.
I used to love it. Yeah.
That was great. So you've been like, you're an OG YouTuber, in my opinion. Like you said, back then you had to sign deals and do all that stuff. Now you can literally just go onto the website and hit like upload a video and make some videos from a game.
Yeah.
So was GTA really what got you into it, or were there other games that you were more interested in, but GTA just kind of picked up?
Yeah, like I said, I kind of started on sort of first-person shooters like Call of Duty and Battlefield.
Right, yeah.
And I think my sort of application was based on how much they enjoyed my Battlefield video that I made at the time. So, I just excited about screenshots in GTA 5.
And that really just took off.
And that just took off, yeah.
Okay, cool. So since then, I mean, and that's a long time. It looks like you've been kind of jumping between different games, trying different stuff, but like sticking to some main things that you like to cover. Okay, so have you ever been in like space games, space sims, like anything like Star Citizen before?
So it's funny, like as a kid, I was always a big space nerd, and I even made a video back in, I think it was like 2015, maybe 2014, of Star Citizen in early alpha.
Oh, okay.
So like I've always had a bit of an interest in it, and I check back on it occasionally. So yeah, like it's not like I kind of just woke up one day and was like, space games. Like it's always been something I'm interested in. But yeah, after my break, I actually got really ill for like 2 or 3. I decided I was going to take two weeks off. And as soon as I took 2 weeks off, I got ill. So I ended up being ill for my holiday. And I was just like, I just want to play a game that I enjoy. And I thought, I'll check out some Star Citizen. I think I saw a thumbnail for Board Gamer. And I was just like, oh yeah, Star Citizen. And it just gave me a little nod. And I was like, okay, we'll check out Star Citizen.
So it was kind of...
video. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just like, okay, let's make a video on Star Citizen. And that first Star Citizen video I made did pretty well. So I was like, oh, okay, people actually, are interested in this game and people potentially want to see me play it. So let's make some more videos. And that's pretty much what I've been doing for a month now.
So it was kind of in the back of your mind. You're just waiting for it to get to a point where it would actually be interesting to play.
Yeah. I like the project. I think the project's awesome and the scale of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a screenshot machine. It just like it always looks so good.
Screenshot simulator. We always call it. Yeah.
I just thought, yeah, I'll check it out, and it's actually been fun. And I've been playing it for like a month now, and I'm still discovering things. Like this whole series on my channel is me kind of coming to Star Citizen for the first time and discovering all this stuff.
Honestly, it's one of the best ways to do it. Like I would love to do more gameplay videos myself, but I feel like part of the joy of watching a Star Citizen gameplay video is how many things happen that you don't really expect. Like it's different from a lot of experiences. But since I've like sat here and obsessed about the game for so long, I'm like, well, I gotta wait until they bring in something new that I can have some fun with. But you've been pumping them out, man. What's been like really getting you back into the game? Like what's something that really draws you in?
It's just just to kind of like compare it. This is gonna be weird, but stay with me.
Okay.
So when I like way back when Minecraft very first came out, I'm thinking like .17 or whatever, like not even fully released yet. The amazing, compelling thing about that game to me, and I think the community at the time on YouTube, was just learning recipes. Like back then, there was no wiki. There was nothing that told you like how to build a pickaxe.
Right.
And like learning that stuff was kind of the joy. And for me, Star Citizen, finding ships, discovering these missions, doing a comms mission for the first time, like all these little things, removing a crime stat for the first time. Like the joy is me like discovering the amount of stuff in this game.
Right. It's kind of like a bag of toys, and you just keep coming across something new.
I'm like, oh, okay, let's do a bounty mission, and now it's on a planet, and now it's in an asteroid field. That's just kind of cool.
I think I was just watching one of your videos where you were able to like buy all the ships or get all the ships in the game or something.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a big part of that bag of toys. I didn't get to watch the whole thing though. What ship really stood out to you? Have you gotten to try the 890 jump yet?
So yeah, I'm obsessed with that ship.
Yeah.
It just I love doing that mission that you can go and do and just infiltrate and save the ship.
That's the best mission in the game, in my opinion. At least lawful.
It's so good. And I'm just upset. Like, I love the design of the ship. And for some reason, I'm in the video. So I think I'm making a different video at this point. And I'm buying something in the shop. And I notice my wallet is full of 50 million credits. So someone just sent me 50 million. And I'm in the video, and it's in a different video where I react. I'm like, what? Where did this money come from? And I'm like, okay, well, subscribe when that comes out later when I'm buying the 890 jump, because that's my first thought. And yeah, so I made a video, the one you watched, where I bought the 890 jump, and I sail it out of Area 18, and I'm just like, this is so cool.
It is. Oh, it's so good. The getting to like tour. Have you gotten to tour all the moons in that ship, or like see all the sights and stuff?
No, so I literally got it yesterday, finished the video, been editing it, and
Okay.
now I'm trying to think of ways of how I can, make some cool videos with the 890 jump. Did my first docking sequence, which was interesting.
Yeah, docking is. Were you able to pick it? Like, was it intuitive to you? It's kind of
No.
confusing. Yeah, the
Yeah, no,
UI is a little.
I had to ask my Discord on what I was doing, and honestly, this probably sounds stupid to people that like yourself that play the game.
Nothing stupid in this game.
But I didn't know you could auto land.
That's fair.
No one told me about auto land, so I've been landing my ship manually the whole time. And then I go to my Discord. I'm like, how this? I don't understand the docking sequence. And then everyone's just yelling at me like, just hold in.
Yeah.
Just hold in, Ollie. Oh, okay. And then it obviously moves about and does it for you.
Just automate it.
Oh, okay.
You will definitely, if you watch me more than a day play this game, like most of my community knows, I love to do manual landings. I don't use auto land. Sometimes that ends with an explosion or two. That's part of the fun of the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's kind of joyful as well, just getting the atmosphere of, taking off and things like that. It's just got a vibe.
I mean, nailing a good landing feels good in this game. Like when you get in, you're soft and you set down and the ship's just perfect. You turn off the engines, you're like, boom, I'm in a movie.
Yeah, and that's kind of my joy with this game. They've done such a good job at designing. It sounds really weird. The universe, like it feels like there's so much set design that goes into making it feel like a real place. That when you're in that ship and you've got neon lights of adverts and you've got the sun coming over a moon, you're just like, you know what? This is freaking cool.
Yeah. I've been playing this game regularly for years, and I still have those moments. Even like live on stream, we'll just come across a sunset or like come through the clouds and see the city, and I'll just sit back and be like, I can't believe it. I can't believe this game still does this to me.
And that's kind of why I'm like addicted to this game at the moment, because I'm like constantly fishing for those moments of just like, that's cool.
It's unfortunate that right now it's in such a state, like besides the glitches and the fact that we don't have all the gameplay we should have in a game like this. It's just unfortunate that as much as you do this exploring and finding things, it eventually runs out because we're still so small. We're in one system compared to the multiple we're supposed to have. But
it's so funny you say that, because like for me, never really spent more than like maybe 2 hours in this game. I'm still like doing that journey. So from like, I'm actually really interested what will happen to me personally once I've seen most things, or I've like done most things.
Yeah.
And then, okay, what am I going to do now? So I'm hoping Pyro comes out by then, but we don't know.
So that's kind of what I've been thinking, like, because I've been watching your journey, and as you're saying, you've got still plenty left to find, but I am thinking about like, okay, so you got into the game, like this is a really good time to get into the game because a lot of things are starting to come together that are actually going to affect the way we play. But like you said, Pyro's kind of around the corner. Will the current content stretch out enough to last you until then? I'm definitely going to be messaging you about that.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
I try not to plan too much of like my content ahead of let's just go into the game, because especially with Star Citizen, as you probably know, you can set out to do something and then something else happens. Like, just to put it into perspective, like I went to do a simple bounty mission, and then I stumbled upon a NPC event where there was ships shooting a caterpillar or something. And I saved everyone was cool, and then all of a sudden I got a crime stat because one of the good guy NPCs went red and I shot him. I got a crime stat. And then I spent an hour working out how to get rid of a crime stat, finally get the crime stat. It gets better. And then I'm coming out of the station, the security post, and I'm EVA above a landing pad, not knowing if you get close, you will faceplant. So I land and die, and then have to like repeat everything all over. And I just like things like that, So I try not to plan too much in this game in terms of recording, because stuff like that happens.
That sounds much less stressful. Because like you can try and put together like an event, and then you can try to get 10 people together to go do that event, and each of those people is dealing with different glitches and problems, and it's just it's difficult. I was playing a mission the other day where I was taking out a bounty. I was taking out a bounty in space. It was like over Microtech or something. And we're dogfighting. We're going back and forth. I'm not doing very good because I think I was in an Aurora. They were in like a Cutlass, so I'm like just barely putting any damage on their ship. And then a security person shows up out of nowhere, just like you said. They didn't turn red. They just like got into the dogfight, and then they didn't shoot at anybody. Instead, they told me that I needed to stop so they could scan me.
Yeah,
like, dude.
I know exactly like what. I feel you right there. That's painful.
Yeah. And so then like I don't stop, obviously, because then I'll die. I get a crime stat. Now this security's shooting at me, and this pirate's shooting at me. I'm like, how am I the bad guy here?
I'm the good guy. Yeah. What are you doing?
Yeah. So I that whole not planning out gameplay is probably one of the best ideas I could think of. It's a solid way to go.
One thing I can really go on. Sorry.
No, please. I was going to change the topic.
I was going to say one thing I really enjoy doing off camera, off recording, is quantum mining runs. So I think my second video I made was a quantum mining run in the mole, where I'm like mining. I like found a really good video. I wish I could link it somewhere, but it was a really good video where it was like solo mining in a mole, and I followed the tutorial. And I was like, right, I've watched the video. I'm gonna make some notes. I'm gonna go and do this. I'm gonna record it, and just the stress and pressure of getting back. If you don't know, quantum explodes after 15 minutes once you've mined it. So the stress of like mining it and getting back, I find it really fun.
Yeah.
So I keep doing that in my spare time.
And that's like, it's great because it's such a basic level of what that gameplay is going to be. You know, like, you can go out and mine some Quantanium and maybe try and sprint it back to the station to turn it in. But once we have refinery ships that can be out there with you, and you can start to strategize and do things differently on the spot. Yeah. It's exciting. So what I was going to ask before was, being such a big channel and obviously having so many people who are kind of checking out your content, what has the response been like shifting from the stuff you were doing, GTA, Planet Coaster, to, at least for the last month or so, exclusively Star Citizen? How's that been going for your community?
Well, for the most part, I think everyone, like, I don't see many complaints. I think people just want to see me enjoy what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I think the content is only good when the content creator is enjoying what they're doing. I think I can tell when you're seeing a content creator make videos they don't care about. I mentioned it earlier, like GTA RP is like really big right now, especially on Twitch and things like that. But I just don't have an interest in pretending to be a police officer. So I could pretend, but I don't have that same passion as, trying to get some crime stat removed.
Right. Yeah. Although the RP in this game is probably going to be pretty big too, just looking at everything.
But I think that's because but then I kind of RP anyway, but it doesn't really feel as fake. Like, I feel like I take it a lot more seriously than I do GTA, because GTA has ragdoll physics and I don't know,
like flying hover bikes and stuff.
Exactly.
I mean, so does Star Citizen.
So I don't take it serious. Like, the game doesn't take itself seriously. So I don't take it particularly seriously. Whereas Star Citizen, I just feel like the community in general, and the community's been really, I was really worried when videos started doing quite well, that people were going to be like, who's this new guy making videos and making loads of them? It keeps showing up on my feed or whatever. But people seem to be really nice, really helpful.
That's exactly what I said at first. Who's this guy keeps showing up on my recommended page? Olli43.
I'm like, I kind of feel bad, but also people have been really nice.
Yeah, man.
In the sense that they are, my comments and especially my first 10 videos, super helpful on super basic stuff, rather than, I can't believe this guy's a noob and he's showing up on my feed. He doesn't deserve to be here. People have been super warm, super nice, and actually teaching me things. So yeah, it's kind of part of the narrative of the series, if you like the comment section actually teaching me the game.
I mean, it happens time and again when people jump into this game, whether they're just, a player who wants to check out what Star Citizen has to offer during a free fly week, or somebody like yourself who jumps in and starts making content. You got to understand about the Star Citizen community. We've been just abused by the game for the last half decade, and we've had to learn how to do everything past the glitches, put up with the delays, figure out the workarounds all by ourselves. So like we've all suffered together for this thing that we're all really, really passionate about. And when somebody new comes into the community, everybody just wants to like share and inform about this game. Here's what it offers. Here's like what you might miss when you jump in. Here's 50 million credits. So that's always been a great part. That one of the best parts I think about Star Citizen is the community.
Yeah. And one of the things that I keep seeing repeatedly in the comment section, or like even fellow content creators have messaged me and saying like the positivity I've got in my videos is like quite refreshing. Because I think Star Citizen, like you're saying, you guys have been abused, and I think it's easy to like feel like this, like get annoyed with the game, and like there's me who's like, oh, look how cool that is. It's a freaking small thing that you would normally overlook. So I think, I don't know, fresh eyes just reminds people of when they first found the game, and like, oh yeah, I remember seeing Microtech for the first time, and like going on the train and being like, wow, that thing really moves. So it's like little things like that. I'm not, pretending to enjoy it. I genuinely love sharing just my first impressions because I think it's just kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, I actually run a series. I try to run a series where I bring newcomers in to play the game with them and like record videos because I'm in 100% agreement with you. Seeing it through fresh eyes is much better, and that's. Some people can say, oh, well, you're getting around the fact that there's not enough gameplay for you to enjoy. But it's like, it's not just about enjoying gameplay or playing the game. It's what makes this game so special. Like you said, just the way it's very detailed and it goes through so much depth. I mean, one of my favorite parts about the game is how you can get guns everywhere. I bring this up all the time. You can get guns everywhere, but then you go to Hurston and you can't buy any weapons there. And like, you don't realize... You see that Hurston obviously doesn't maintain their city well. Like they give themselves a nice building and everybody else is trash. They're dumping sewage out. They've got plastic bags on their heads, all this stuff. And you start to realize, oh, they're like really oppressive and they just straight up don't want people to have weapons. And it's those kinds of details that's like, it's not a gameplay related detail. It's just the fact that it goes along with the lore. That kind of stuff keeps me in this game for sure.
Yeah, my first visit with Hurston was really funny because I was like, this place is rubbish. Like, why would anyone come here?
Yeah.
And then I step into the weapon shop and I'm like, oh, now this is a bit of me. This is nice. Some gold, marble, and all the rest of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, cool.
Like they don't sell anybody else's weapons, but then when they want to sell their own, it's like this nice display. These giant, those guns are like 4 times the size of us. They're so big. They're huge.
It's pretty cool.
So what's been the favorite planet so far? Have you been to all of them?
I think so. I went to Crusader off video once. Well, I say I went there. I spawned there randomly, booting up into the game, which I was just like, what? Where am I? Where is this place? We're in clouds. But my favorite place so far definitely is Microtech. I definitely love the city. I love the fact everything is clean and just... you get some pretty nice screenshots coming out of the spaceport. It's like a really nice place.
Yeah, Microtech's beautiful.
Although, I will say, Chris, you need to fix the fact that I can't see where I need to land at that spaceport. Thank you.
Chris, if you're watching, let us see where we're going.
Of course he's watching.
That's actually a complaint I have about the spaceport in Crusader. Because that one is like, I mean, you come out of quantum travel really high up, and then you can just not even really see the buildings. You can barely see a couple lights. But yeah, that I think we need a little bit better marking on the spaceports in general.
No, I was talking about, when you call the landing thing and they give you a place to land?
Yeah.
Like it's glitched out at the moment.
Yeah. Like, okay. Yeah, I got you. The 317 has been not really showing you the garage that you're talking about. Yeah, okay.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Where do I go?
Like, I'm just going to land on a pad. You guys can
and then,
impound
you get a
me.
parking fine.
Yeah,
exactly.
All right. So, have you gotten to get into the? You've been playing the game. I know that. Have you gotten to look into the development side of it that much?
I've started watching the video series they put out. By the way, I think it's freaking cool that a project this size has a weekly series. I don't think, well, I don't know if people give them enough credit for doing that. Like, it takes effort to put videos like that together, and they knock them out every week, and they're making a video game. I just think that's really, really cool.
Yeah, it's their CIG has like a thing with communication. I think they do a pretty good job. I do think that they sometimes don't communicate in the ways that they should. But you're right. The weekly videos are really nice, just kind of casual updates. And then they do the hour-long discussions every week, which sometimes, you know, they don't have that much info. But sometimes, man, those, like, if I was able to watch a video like this about some of the other games that I back or that I follow, I'd be just super jazzed. I think it's great.
That's what I mean. And like, imagine if, you know, to go back to GTA 5, imagine if I had that access of development of GTA 5 back when I was just given a screenshot like once every 3 months.
Yeah.
Like, and it kind of like annoys me how well, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think they get enough credit for showcasing how much like the actual nuance, small details that, let's be honest, like a lot of players probably don't care about the nuance, like collisions or the fact they're working on this specific thing, but there are people that do. And I think it's just super cool that they cater to those people that really want to know exactly where the development is.
Yeah. Yeah, they also do a monthly report where they just basically type up all the stuff that, maybe not all the stuff, but a majority of the stuff that the various parts of the studio have been working on. And you can just read through it and see, okay, this is what they worked on in April. And like you said, there's a lot of stuff in there that people just don't care about. I mean, one of the latest drama statements has been about bedsheet deformation, which is, you know, the cloth physics and how they'll be applied to beds. And it's like, what game will ever tell you about, like, I'm not going to go play Red Dead Redemption 2 and they have like little patch notes and they're like, okay, updated bed cloth collisions. It's not important, but it's cool that like we get to at least know
stuff that they talk about. That's what they talk, like that's what the cycles started talking about. Like, there's so much other stuff in this game, and that's what I get so passionate. Like, I came back to this game to check it out, but if I hadn't, I would be thinking what I'm being told on like article sites and stuff, that this game is only focusing on bed sheets right now. But like, when you play the game, there's so much here.
It's crazy. I just like, can you imagine like this $400 million game and you're like, oh, okay, cool, I'm gonna try this out, let me download the alpha, and it's just like a bedsheet simulator. Just moving cloth back and forth.
That's how they talk about the game. Like, there's so much to this game. I feel like this game maybe gets a bad rap with people that don't actually play the game. Like, yeah, there's bugs, but like, it's in development and it's getting better all the time.
The game suffers from its reputation. Like, it had problems. It definitely was like stagnated for a while. Now that the engine is starting to come together, we're seeing real development go on, but like, it's still dealing with its past reputation, and people can't look past that. You know, obviously you see an article, you're not going to go and watch a Twitch streamer on it. You're going to read that article and say, okay, I'll look into this later when they're not working on bedsheet mechanics.
Exactly.
And yeah, I think it does kind of get a bad rap. Obviously, it has problems. We've seen plenty of problems. I'm not going to
pretend it doesn't.
It'd be nice if they talked about those in the articles.
It'd be nice. Yeah, that's true. I just really wish, and that's kind of what my whole series on YouTube is. It's like, look, I didn't know anything about the game, but I've started to play it, and I've made maybe nearly 30 videos in the past month about this game. It's just
crazy.
It's not just about bed sheets. So shut up.
Right. It's also not just about ships. You know, that's the problem with the conversation, is it usually goes towards one topic. Oh, you can buy ships, or oh, it's not not done yet. It's been 10 years of development, and you kind of miss what is it? Miss the forest for the trees, or whatever the term is. You miss all these details and stuff that's actually going on. Yeah. So in terms of gameplay though, like let's see. We're about to get salvage, or at least it's scheduled to come in, which is something that's a thing in the community. We've seen salvage get talked about in this game 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, every year, basically.
Really?
We saw it in one way or another, whether it was on the roadmap or somebody was talking about it in the weekly shows. So you'll probably see a lot of jokes about it in the lead up to it getting released, but that's kind of the next gameplay we get. And we just got refueling. Have you gotten to try that?
I haven't had the chance to try that.
Okay.
I did, however, go to, I think is it L4 or something, somewhere on the map where you go. So I was testing out a glaive or something because I reached a certain milestone in the referral thing, and I quantum jumped to what I thought was a spaceport to refuel with fuel. And then you go there, and if you don't know, there's nothing there.
There's nothing
so I'm
there.
Literally in a video, I'm like, great, I've got no quantum fuel, and I'm just here, and there's nothing around. So yeah, I learned that lesson, and it definitely needed to be in the game at that point.
Oh, that was before the update?
Yeah. That was before the update. And then they like, it was such a meme. The following week, they're like, hey, we released a ship that now allows you to refuel. I'm like, where was this?
Yeah, I had the same thing happen to me. I jumped to a Lagrange point. I was like, okay, cool. I could get fuel here. I would be stranded, but you know what? It'll be fine. I'll get there. And there's nothing there. I'd have a friend like fly all the way out to get me. Have you gotten to get in and like try out the looting mechanics, like getting into bunkers and find some new gear and stuff like that?
Yeah, I've dabbled a little bit on the bunker missions early on, and I've enjoyed being shown some of the wrecks around. That's been quite a cool new thing.
Yeah.
Going to like Caterpillar wrecks and looking around for cool stuff and finding subscriber loot, which I think is really cool that you can actually find loot that actually costs real money.
Yeah, that's like
that's awesome.
You can't just buy that.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a good addition. I think it was I think it rubbed some people the wrong way, but in the long term.
What, you think because they bought the stuff and now everyone can have it?
Well, the whole situation was like they took a lot of things out of the game, out of the stores of the game, so that they could be found in loot boxes. So it wasn't necessarily the subscriber items that rubbed people the wrong way, but just the fact that they were kind of retooling the ways that you could get certain items. They want to try and, make these items more valuable, right? If you find it, it should feel better than just, oh, I bought this a couple hours ago in the store. Yeah. So they took a lot of stuff away from purchasing.
Yeah, I honestly have no idea how the community made a cheat sheet within a week of like some of the locations.
Dedication.
Like, I genuinely don't understand. Did they have 50 people and just go out in all directions until they found stuff? Like,
it's years of practice.
I was like, how? Crazy.
It gets deep. I mean, there are people who have data mined the patch that's currently out, to see like what kind of stuff is in these files that might be coming in the next patch.
Wow.
There's all kinds of ways that people try and get just the most information that we can.
Yeah.
Because we always want to know what's next. But how do those mechanics compare to other games? I don't know if you play other MMOs, but I don't, and I don't really play games with loot mechanics, so I'm always curious as to how people think it compares. But you don't either.
I'm not usually an MMO type of guy, which is weird because I'm really into the MMO side. Maybe I would. I'm really into the massively multiplayer aspect of Star Citizen, and now that I've started to play with people in my Discord and stuff, it just elevates the game even further. But yeah, no, it's fun finding loot. The only thing I would say is it's kind of awkward when there's one cool gun and there's, the two of you have gone to go find loot. Like, how do you decide it suddenly becomes a shoot off? Like, I don't know.
Whoever doesn't get the crime stat gets to keep the gun.
Exactly.
Well, I'm actually in the same boat as you. I never played any MMO before this game. Everything that I've been learning has been first time, but I can't say I've ever experienced another game like Star Citizen.
No, it's full of just really cool, unique experiences, and I hate it because I'm editing my videos and I keep saying the word cool. I'm like, this is so cool, but like it is, like,
yeah,
just the atmosphere and the set piece, the postcard moments, getting into that big ship that you just bought and saved up for.
Yeah, getting
a lot of cool moments.
Make a little post on Discord to show everyone you just got that ship finally.
Mm.
Do you have any? Yeah. Have you seen the concept ships that they were like the pictures of ships that haven't been released? Are you starting to get into the I can't wait for that ship kind of phase? Or are you still loving the ships in game?
Massively. So I way back in 2015, I pledged the Constellation Phoenix. That was like my pledge. And I'm mad at the fact that I can't access the hot tub right now. So that's another thing that needs fixing, Chris.
Yes. Get it done, Chris. Hot tubs.
Come on, Chris.
Need our hot tub streams.
Exactly. So I'm a huge sucker for big capital ships. At the time, that was like the biggest ship you could sort of get.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like the bigger the ship, I'm just like, oh, that looks so cool. Like I'm excited. Invictus Week, hopefully we'll see the Javelin. I've heard that's a really cool thing. So I'm excited to see that for the first time.
Yeah. That's Invictus Week has been pretty good. It's been I believe it's been the biggest funding event of the year. The expo at the end of the year might be bigger, but the Invictus Week brings in a lot of money for them and a lot of press and just people, and it's a huge time for activity. May and June are like two of the biggest months for Star Citizen.
So I literally timed it accidentally perfectly.
You timed it perfect, yeah.
So basically what you're saying is I've spent, May or April learning Star Citizen just as Invictus Week comes out, so I can make loads of cool videos about cool stuff in that.
Yep.
And then there's loads of people that are interested in how to play Star Citizen.
Yeah, you're gonna love it, man. They put out the hall full of ships. You go out there, you can rent any of them, you can check them out. Like you're gonna be able to make a ton of videos from that.
I'm so excited.
It's cool.
Like how I said this game gets a bad rap and stuff with like updates. I don't know of a game. Maybe there are loads of games, and I'm an idiot. But I don't know of a game that does such a cool event like that. I guess like Fortnite kind of did it, where everyone played the game at the same time, and it was like an in-game event. Like that was really cool. So I just love the fact it's a week-long thing of just like a celebration of the game, and people can play it for free, which I think's insane. The free, is it Free Fly?
Free Fly, yeah.
Free Fly. I just think that's a really cool event.
It kind of benefits them and us, right? Because it makes this crazy cool event, like you were saying, allows them to let us check out the ships. People come in and play for free, and at the same time, they have a massive ship sale, and like I said, they make a ton of money. So it's definitely not something I think other companies would be as incentivized to do as CIG is, but I also do think that's kind of the future, like doing these sort of in-game, I guess, international events where everybody can come play together. They do that. They did that in Elite Dangerous a little bit, I know, and like you said, Fortnite does it. But I think that is something that a lot of games are starting to look at more, because it's just a fantastic way to create buzz, get people back in.
I was about to say, from their perspective, people are making articles and I'm making videos going, oh, no, that's cool. So like, yeah, I don't know why more games don't do it, but I just love an international event because it's just cool. Like as a community, we all get all giddy about like, what's it going to be this time?
Yeah. It's also really cool that it's so driven by lore that you, like you said, you go into the Javelin to tour it, and like you have people who are talking to you as if they were people who worked on that Javelin. You go into the expo and you get to read the history of how it all came together. Like, I like that it's not just some random event, but they do a lot to really build it into the universe.
Yeah. And it seems like there's a lot of content there as well.
Yeah.
In terms of like the expo halls and stuff like that.
So speaking of Invictus Week and funding and ship sales, what are your thoughts on how they fund the game? Because that's probably the most controversial bit surrounding this game.
Okay. Before I answer, what do you? I don't know. What do you think is controversial, or do people think is controversial about the state of the way they do pledges and stuff? Just so, because I'm curious, what people like. What's the problem with pledges?
I think there are definitely different arguments based on how much you know. I think the big one that people are like just knee-jerk reaction, oh, you can buy ships. I think they just assume, a lot of those people assume that you can't get the ship any other way.
Okay.
And then there's also the understanding that, well, this is a space game, so ships must be the main thing that helps you to progress or to explore and grow in the game. So they assume, well, if you can buy ships, then what's the point of the game? It's all pay to win. You can do anything you want right at the beginning. But those people don't understand how much goes into having to run a ship, you know, paying for the insurance, paying for the fuel, the cost, getting people on board the ship to help you keep it running, all that stuff. So there are levels to it. When you get deeper, when you start to really look at these sales, there are definitely, I feel like predatory is a bit strong of a word, but there are definitely practices that are encouraging people to spend more money than they need to. And
oh yeah,
I think that definitely, because that started to get more and more so throughout the last couple of years. I think it's starting to catch on and rub people wrong.
I think, okay, so here's my view. I think this game, I don't know, maybe it is their fault, but I think it's more just the scale and the promise of Star Citizen is very, very easy to sell to people. I think it's the same in a car dealership. If you have a really nice car on the floor, you might be swayed to, I'd rather drive the nicer with the gold rims or whatever car than all the other stuff in the secondhand area. I think this game is really easy to sell stuff that, one, you can't experience in the real world, and two, they just put I'm looking at the jump right now. Like that ship, I don't care who you are. That is cool. That is an awesome looking ship, and being able to walk around, and the fact that you can land on a planet, take it up in space, do whatever you want, and then land it, have it like, there's no other game that sells that experience. I don't think.
No.
And I think putting a payment gateway to access it quickly is smart. And I think people don't have impulse control. And I don't know, Chris maybe knows this, and is like, you could say he preys on that, as you say, like predatory, whatever. But I mean, they make a cool game. So I don't understand. Like, they make a cool game. The ships are awesome. You don't have to buy it, and you can earn it in the game. So, like, if you're educated and you know about the game, I don't have to actually pay. For example, I've got access to buy, if I want to pledge the jump, I have to buy it in a bundle. That's like £14,000.
Holy crap.
Which is a lot, right?
Yeah.
And like most people would not think that's a reasonable purchase.
Yeah.
But if there's someone out there who has that kind of money and doesn't have the impulse control, they might pull that trigger. And also, if they don't know that they could just play the game to earn the jump, like earn in-game credits, like whilst playing, then you can get the jump. Like for me, getting the jump was awesome, but part of me is a little sad that I kind of got to skip, 150 quantum runs.
Right.
I've kind of missed out on that gameplay now.
Yeah.
Until they do a content wipe. So yeah, I don't think it's a predatory game. I think they just make cool ships and they charge what people are willing to pay.
I think I'm in line with you for the most part. I have worries about how it will factor into game balance later, but you make a great point. You don't have to buy these games with money. In fact, I always tell people, if you want to, like, if you spend $45, get into the game, people will send you money in game, so you'll be able to buy ships if you want to. And if you want to support the project, because that's how the game is being made, it doesn't make any other money than from ship sales. There's no publisher. They're self-publishing. There are very few investors. This is kind of how they make most of their money. If you want to help make the game, then go ahead and buy that $14,000 ship pack if you got the money for it. But yeah, otherwise, like, just relax.
Also, the scale of this game and the promise of this game and where it will get to, £45 is a totally good value.
Yeah.
I've spent more than 100 hours in the past month playing this game. And if I didn't pledge £45, but if I had, I would have absolutely got value. So, like, people to sort of demonize the game in the sense that, oh, this game is out to get people. Look, no one's pretending it isn't a business, but at the end of the day, if people can't impulse control, that's like saying it's the car dealership's fault for people needing to get to work. Like, it's not their fault that they make a cool product and people want to buy it. You never get pop-ups in the game. They don't say, oh, you can't do this mission until you buy this ship. You just earn your money, you do your things, and that's that. The content's there.
That's fair.
You got to work for it.
I do think they should be careful though. Like the baseline, like of what you're talking about, just the fact that they sell ships and like let people buy them. They keep the game completely free at 45. Well, not free, but they keep the game at £45 or dollars to buy in and get to enjoy all that stuff. That's all good, but they do need to be careful about the way that they present stuff, in my opinion. When they, for instance, here's one thing. So last year, and this is something that they've kind of tiptoed around for a while, but last year we straight up got a statement from them saying, hey, we're not going to release any more ships without their primary gameplay in the ship. And they've kind of done it still. It's not too bad. It's not to the point where like they're releasing a salvage ship that can't salvage, but for instance, like they put out an exploration ship last year that can't use its exploration gameplay.
I completely see your angle. And for example, the Reclaimer is a ship that I think you could buy at some point. It's a heavy salvage ship, right?
Yeah.
And that doesn't do salvage.
Right.
So in that respect, yeah, I think you're right. And I think they shouldn't be releasing ships for you to buy with real money that aren't finished yet, or unless they should sell it to you at a discount. If they're going to sell it at, let's ballpark, £100 ship, if it doesn't have 100% of the features, it shouldn't be 100% of the price. And if you get in early, you get a discount.
early birds discount.
Exactly.
That's actually...
That's more friendly, and like, if you're going to help us test this ship that isn't finished yet, we're not going to fully charge you. I think I would find that okay, and I would be a sucker for that, and I'd end up buying a load of ships.
I mean, technically, that's what happens. It's not exactly how you said it, but that's how it ends up going. So, like, finished in this game, nobody really knows when it comes to ships, right? Because, like, they have to get docking collars to work correctly. They have to get power management to work. So like every ship in the game doesn't have power management. They'll have to redo it at some point for that. But usually if you buy a concept ship, it will be cheaper than at any other time in that ship's life. And that's one of those things that people are kind of like, you're encouraging people to buy ships before they know what it actually does, because by the time it's in game, you raise the price for it. So it's kind of like what you said. But that has its ups and downs.
I guess they just don't label it like that then. They don't really say, well, you're getting 20% off.
Yeah, because that's not a great look.
Maybe I'm just like a terrible person. I would like try and convince people to buy the game. Like,
you are the marketing head.
Exactly. I just feel like I just don't care, because like the game is there at £45. And if people like, for people to complain that it's predatory, it's like, oh, McDonald's are being predatory because they're putting a cheeseburger advert on at lunchtime.
Well, like, I would say McDonald's has probably been accused of that.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a business trying to sell their products. And I don't, like, yes, they're trying to make money to continue funding a cool game.
Yeah, and that's really one of the biggest topics, I think. It's just, they're really cutting a fine line of keeping this game funded and making this game. And people, I think, forget that there are 4 or 5 studios worldwide, 700 plus employees, and they didn't start from that size. They've built a game engine, right? They've basically rebuilt a game engine. They're building 2 games at once, and all that stuff on top of it. They need money.
Yeah. I guess I just don't have a problem with people funding a project that I think is cool. What it comes down to. I've said all that. I do kind of see how it could be seen as like, oh, they're trying to trick people into spending lots of money on a ship. And honestly, no one's trying to pretend £14,000 for a ship package isn't a lot of money.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I don't know. I guess the problem I've got is I'm completely biased. I'm in a complete honeymoon phase of this game right now.
You're in love.
Yeah. And I'm not saying the game doesn't have issues and stuff like that, but like I say, I want to see the project finished, so I don't mind people spending money on it. And like, if realistically, if people stop buying the game, eventually development would stop.
You sound like a true citizen. Like these
am I part of the club now?
You're part of the cult, man. These are like arguments that I have been seeing and been making for years. When people will be like, "Hey, they're not making this game. Stop giving them money." And it's like, well, that the same thing's gonna happen. They'll stop making or like, there's too many people making ships. Maybe they should fire them and hire more people who do other things. They have plenty of job openings for people who do other things. It's like there are a lot of statements like that are just trying to figure out what's wrong with this project, when in reality what's wrong probably we can't come up with the answer for because we can't see it.
Yeah, in my perspective, like from like a player's perspective, there are things that I would prioritize differently.
Sure, yeah.
But I'm not behind the curtain. I don't see like where things are or what stages things are at. Like for me, the things that I would get fixed are the map, because people use that.
Oh my God, yes.
60% of the time in game. And the way I would do it is I would look at things people spend time in the game doing, and it's not on big expensive ships. Like 1%, 2% of players probably buy the most expensive ships. I don't know, something like that. Like most people are probably in, starships and will always be in starships. And everybody uses the map. So just fix the map first before you start releasing new ships.
Yeah.
Like I kind of lean on that argument. But in terms of like, they should stop trying to make money. Shut up.
But the thing about it is that like there are, obviously the people who aren't working on ships aren't working on UI, right? So you wouldn't have to tell them to stop working on ships.
That's a completely like, I don't do game development. I've never done it. Yeah. And I have no idea what they're doing. But from like my perspective as a player, I'm sat here going, why is the map so annoying?
Yeah, it's awful. It's terrible. They've been working on it.
When I zoom in, the planet disappears? What's that?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. When you're trying to find like an outpost on the planet and you zoom in and it's just gone. You're like, I can't select anything.
Okay, just simple UI. In the meanwhile, just put a drop down of like planet and then places that I can quantum to. And let me just click that and then give me the waypoint of where to point the ship.
Like just a list even.
That's what I'm saying. Just like a drop down list of, right, I'm at Crusader. I want to go to this moon. I want to go to this particular mining 45 or whatever it is. Just let me do that.
Yeah, it would be so nice. They've been working on this the star map for a long time. I say they've been working on it. They've been talking about it for a long time. They went through they had to build out the tool that allowed them to build UI, and then they had to turn that into 3D, and then they had to find the pre-visualizations for all these things, and now they're finally making it. But we don't know when it's going to be in. Could be this year, could be next year.
Yeah. I do love that about Star Citizen. The fact that they're just like, okay, we render the map 3D in the game, rather than it's just like, that's a very weak understanding of how it works. But in terms of like, they had to build the tech to build the idea they had. I love the fact they have the freedom and they don't have a publisher going, no, that's too expensive and that would take 9 months. We're not doing that.
No publisher, like, just a million
they
nerds.
Can just be like, we're gonna eventually we're gonna have it so oxygen is like a thing and moves around the ship depending on what doors you have open. Like that eventually will be freaking cool.
Yeah.
But any publisher would be like, no, we don't sell more games if there's oxygen in one room and not the other.
Yeah. It's a weird relationship we've got. They can we're not publishers, but we technically kind of hold them accountable. Yeah. So like they'll like you said, they'll be like, oh yeah, we're gonna make some life support systems and you can drain the oxygen out and starve people of their breathing and all this stuff. And a publisher might be like, okay, don't waste time on that, please. Meanwhile, we're just like, yes, it's great.
I can suffocate my friends.
Yeah.
At last.
And so CIG always has this weird situation where they can introduce something that's cool enough that the people who keep them accountable will just agree with them. And I know that definitely gets on a lot of people's nerves because a lot of people are like, stop working on these cool features that are like minor and just work on the big things. And of course we get back to that same argument, but
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Do you think Star Citizen will ever be finished at a state where you're not telling me, oh yeah, the map is really annoying and bad? Like things like basic level, like they obviously know the map's bad, right?
Oh
or
yeah.
They know they can do better because they wouldn't be working on one. So, but do you reckon they'll ever get to a point where they're like, you know what? Everything else is extra. We've done the game and now we're just adding systems or adding more ships or, you know.
I do think that we're going to get to a point where they will be like, okay, this is go time. They will stop any progress wipes. They will make death permanent, and they will say, hey, this is the start. The economy works from here, and things will progress along. This is the beginning of the story of Star Citizen. I think that will happen, but I think after that, we will still see things like new systems coming in, probably new types of gameplay, new factions of people. Like this is one of those games that will always continue. You know, it's like No Man's Sky. They get huge drops of content, even though that game is technically done. So I do think it'll live on similar to that, or something like Fortnite. It's kind of a new style of game.
Content creator, that's amazing.
Yeah,
and in the sense that because like back to wrap around, like I've been making YouTube videos for 10 years. And one of the problems with making videos about GTA 5 is like it's 10 years old now, or like whatever. It's like a really old game. And at a point, you're just like, well, okay, I've made... people will suggest, hey, do this. I've done that. I've made 4 videos on that across like 6 years.
Right.
Whereas Star Citizen, like the thought of it making new content all the time, it just really excites me. And like I love discovering stuff for the first time.
Yeah, so. and it's also just massive. Like you could live a life in one system and then move to another system and have a completely new surrounding to do that all over in.
Yeah, what's all this I hear about people talking about you'd be able to, like, in Pyro, just claim a bit of land or a base or something because there's no, like, apparently there's going to be a base building ship or something.
Yeah, that won't be here in Pyro, I don't think. I mean, that would be amazing if it was, but they haven't talked about that. But there is a base building ship, was introduced in concept form in 2017, I believe. And
did they take money for that ship, or...?
They sold it, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then they also...
I'm starting to see the argument on the other side of the coin.
So this is one of the more controversial things they've done. When they took the money for that ship, they also said, okay, with this ship, we're going to allow you to build bases. If you're building a base in official government land, UEE territory, you're going to need a land claim to register with. So they started selling land claims. There was no way to apply it in game. It didn't exist in game. It didn't preserve a specific spot of land in the game for those people, but it was like when the game launches, you have this land claim available to you and you can go find a spot. Not a big deal, right? Because you could just jump into the game and buy a land claim anyways, but it didn't look good. It was not a good look.
How much was a land claim?
I don't know. I have no idea. Okay. I don't pay attention to prices in this game. I don't even go in the ship store. I'm like...
Because I mean, if that came out in 2017 and they took people's money and we, like you just said, we haven't heard anything about that, and we still haven't.
I mean, we've gotten so last year, just last November, we got the first major update on that. They actually showed us the tool that would be used to build bases, but that's as far as we've gotten. So
see that I can see the argument on the other side. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I can definitely see people getting upset because like they're asking for money on a feature that is not even close to coming out back in 2017.
Yeah.
Like, they hadn't even started building it up, probably. I don't know.
And that's I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, carry on.
I was just going to say that's kind of why I say they're dealing with the past reputation right now, because they wouldn't. I don't think they would. They're gonna make me eat my words, but I don't think they would do something like that.
Invictus
at
Week
this
is coming up.
When they do things now, it's a lot more short term than it used to be. And if they were gonna come out and be like, okay, so we're looking into base building now, I would expect that to be something we heard about consistently for the next couple of years. Not every week, not every month, maybe, but definitely every year. And their communication has changed to do that more than it did back then. But yeah,
that's positive.
Yeah.
The fact that they reacted to, okay, maybe we're being a bit, maybe we're selling more than we have. Because I guess that was my point. Like, as long as you're buying what they're offering, like, it's fine. But I mean, if you're telling me they're selling things that they definitely don't have and aren't going to have for, like, in that case, 4 years at least, like, that starts getting into a bit of a gray area for me.
Yeah.
So the fact that they've, I don't know, listened to people like yourself and people in the community saying, hold up, that might be a bit much. That's a positive, I suppose.
I think they definitely went through some changes in the last couple of years to do that better. Like, for instance, they announced the Expanse, the refining ship, just a couple of weeks ago or last month. And it's, if we had seen that in 2018, yeah, we might have expected that it would be there in the next couple of years. Hindsight's 2020, though, and we know it wouldn't be. Now we see it, and it's like, okay, that's probably coming next year. It's probably not that far away. So they got better at not only their predictions and the stuff they decided to tell us about, but which some people would say is a lack of transparency, but they've also gotten a lot better at not selling as many concepts. 2017, we got like 10 literal pictures of ships that people could buy. Now you'd get no more than 3 or 4, and they'd usually be linked to some event or something. So yeah, that stuff's made progress.
I guess it goes back to what you were saying, is they've got to, like, ride that line of keeping the funding going to build a game that they've got in their minds, and also selling as much stuff as they can. Like, they need to sell as much stuff as they can, and they also need to, like, not be bad guys.
Yeah. And I am not envious of that job.
And they have the power, and so they need the responsibility to not, overdo it. I think they need to be, I'm sure they are now, responsible and going, okay, it's clearly very easy to take people's money on a promise, which they've done, like, for example, the base thing. But we need to not do that, because that doesn't look good for us in the long run.
Yeah. And like I said, they're getting better. Not all the way there, but they're definitely getting better. And it's a good time to get better, because as you can see, the game's starting to become a little more mainstream. It's starting to attract people in much bigger ways. I mean, you've probably brought tons of people into this game in the last month.
Reckon?
Wow.
I'm very, very close to the Mile High Club. So that's at least 1,000 people.
That's a lot of people. I mean, I've had people come onto my own videos, come into my stream and be like, yeah, I was watching Olli43. I love that guy. I was watching his videos. And then they'll be like, I dove more into Star Citizen. Like, I watched his videos and it was the gateway. So,
See, the way I saw it was I was kind of stepping on everyone else's, like videos and being like, hey, look over here, new guy.
No, we love it.
Clearly, like, I guess that's why people, like, feel kind of positive, because I'm just shedding a bit of a light on some people that maybe not have seen it before. That's cool.
I hope that nobody is looking at it that way. I like seeing more and more people coming in and making content for this game, because the hardest part of covering this game is making sure that the actual correct information gets out. It's just a constant battle of, like, what is the most misused information about this game, and how do I make a good video that can explain that properly to people who don't follow the game every week? And it's hard.
Yeah.
So, like, when a channel like yours comes through and starts showing people that the game's actually there, it does way more of that than I could. And I think that just helps the community.
I think content and Star Citizen. The thing I like about it is I'm never gonna do, I don't think, like news videos about Star Citizen because I don't have the patience to do the due diligence to check things. And for me, I'm just kind of goofy guy in space, right? Learning the game.
Yeah.
But there's so much angles you can come at Star Citizen, like, you know, the community, there's group events, there's orgs, there's people that are making tutorials, there's news. There's so much stuff you can do about Star Citizen.
Yeah,
so
it's absurd. Did you know they've been creating languages for the game?
No, but it does not.
Of course, me. Yeah. There is already an alien dialect. I believe it's Xi'an. I'm pretty sure it's Xi'an. You can already learn it and read it. There are people in the community who like. Sometimes there will be something lore, or something in a video, or something like that. There might be Xi'an text, and people will actually translate it. And that's a skill in the game when you go into alien systems and they speak.
Beautiful and crazy.
Yeah, it's like No Man's Sky. They do that too. I don't know if you've ever played it, but
yeah, no, I've touched No Man's Sky, but
yeah.
like it doesn't No Man's Sky. Maybe I'm wrong, but doesn't it translate it for you if you learn the words or something?
Yeah, if you learn the words. So it's kind of like that.
Yeah,
but
like in this game, idea. They're just like, no, either you know it or you don't.
Yeah, they're like, if you're dumb, you're not going to get by here.
Yeah, no, you don't get to enter the room.
But that is excuse me. That is bar none the best part of this game for me. They are doubling down on making sure everything in this game is accessible, but it's also so deep and difficult that you want to bring somebody else with you who knows how to do it.
Yeah.
And I love
100%.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, for me, the fun has been on both sides of that. Learning the game for the first time and getting shown that stuff by people in my comments section. And also, when I have a friend in my Discord who's like, hasn't done the jump mission before, and I'm walking around showing him the jump mission. Like, so the game is fun to teach and it's fun to discover.
Yeah, it really is.
They should put that on the box.
It's like fun to discover, fun to teach, because you're gonna have to teach them. Yeah. We don't do any of that.
If you want your friend here and you don't want to throw him out of your ship, you're gonna have to teach him.
Yeah, I actually haven't even brought like my real world friends. They all know I've followed this game for a long time. One of them just the other day was like, "Yeah, I met you." And I met you in 2014 and you were talking about this game. So this is like the game and you are one. But I don't bring any of my real friends into this game yet. No? I tell them to wait. Yeah. I think we're very close to being ready, but is that
because you're worried about like blowing it? Like if they look at the game and they're like, no, this is that. No, the map doesn't work. I'm not playing this game.
I mean, I'm not even worried. I just know it'll happen. I realize that like, I don't know, put it towards another form of art, right? If you were making a YouTube video and you wanted to give your friends a good idea of the kinds of videos you make, you probably wouldn't want to show them one that's half done. If anything, you'd want to show them like a good section of the video that you already have well underway. And like, I don't want to bring my friends in after all this time and be like, yeah, this game's great. It's super fun. It's super glitchy, but it's fun. And then have them come in and be like, you're right. It is glitchy and fun. I'll wait. Like, yeah. I'll just, give them some time.
I guess so. Because I have some friends that I've seen that I've started making videos and they're like, oh, they asked me, should I check out Star Citizen? I'm like, yeah. Well, first of all, if you're going to do it, use my referral code. And the other thing.
You got to slip that in here.
Is like, there's a free week, so maybe try it in the free week.
Yeah,
because like either you can tolerate the jankiness sometimes, or you can't. And I can. I accept there's jank in this game, and I kind of get annoyed by it, but I kind of forgive it because I like it so much. And if you're kind of lukewarm on the game, I don't think the bugs are gonna like. I think it will put people off, like you say. I think people will just be like, okay, it's fun, yeah, but I'm tired of. Like for example, the other day I was doing a loot thing with the caterpillar, literally just walking, and I died.
No walking. Not allowed.
And you know, and in this game, everything takes so long. I spawn in a planet that is like 20 minutes away. I have to wait for my ship to get claimed. Like, that's another half an hour of gameplay because the game killed me for no reason. And that's frustrating. And if you don't like the game to begin with, like, you're throwing your mouse across the room like, no, I'm not doing this.
Or your whole body. I would definitely say, like, if you're interested in this game, best way to start is to go watch a streamer. Because they're playing the game, you'll get to see them get frustrated. You get to see them have fun. Like my other stream the other day, if somebody was watching that, they'd be like, I might hold off on this. Because I was like, I flew all the way across the system and I died and I had to go all the way back. It'd be like that.
Bit of downtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what would you say? Obviously, you have a massive community yourself. But as somebody who with a lot of, I think... what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it, but people have a lot of respect for your channel, right? Your channel is not the 12 to 30,000 subscriber Star Citizen channel trying to tell people that the game is worth playing. I think you have a lot more credibility to your word, especially in the general gaming community. What would be your...
I never thought of it like that, but maybe.
I mean, you've got more than me. That's for sure.
I never really pay too much attention to that stuff because, like, I've been making videos for so long. I just, to me, I don't see, like, if I was in a room and I saw everyone watching my videos, that would kind of like blow my mind because, like, for me, I'm making it and I only speak to you and my Discord community and, like, that's maybe 8 people in a Discord call.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the only perspective I have on what people think of my videos other than maybe comments. So, like, to me, it's a little bit weird. But in terms of, I'm just glad that I can show the game and, like, and I want to be honest about it.
Yeah.
I'm not here to lie and get into the Mile High Club. Like, I just
get those referrals.
Yeah, I know. I just enjoy kind of showing the good and the bad. And just, like the playlist says, discovering Star Citizen. And some of that is jank and some of it is good.
It's all a mixed bag. But
yeah, I don't really see it like, oh, I have a responsibility to, give people the yes or no.
Yeah.
I don't really see myself as much on an authority, especially in Star Citizen, because there's like, it's such a strong community.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like most people in the community, content creators, I feel like most people know each other.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a close-knit group.
Exactly. So, like, I would personally trust you guys way more than I would trust my perspective on the game because, like, I've only just started playing it.
Sure, but you got to look at this from the person who's coming across random YouTube videos on YouTube,
Maybe.
Right? Like,
I just don't, I guess.
I'll give you a good example.
Okay.
There was an article that was put out at the end of last year by a journalist at, I want to say it was Kotaku. And I know people in the who are listening are already like, ugh. But, like, hold on, hear me out. So this journalist put out an article that was essentially just like 5 paragraphs of them complaining that the game has taken too long. Like, it was just example after example of like, oh yeah, I backed this game 6 years ago, I can't do this now. And it was over and over. It was like not a great article. And I went out, I probably shouldn't have done this, but I commented on their tweet, which didn't have any attention on it yet. And I was like, hey man, I see your article, there are real problems with this game, let's actually do something, let's talk. Yeah. And I didn't get a reply, but what it did do was it opened it up to everybody else on Twitter who's in the Star Citizen community. So he started getting a lot of comments on it. But one of the things he said was, if you have Star Citizen in your headline, I'm not talking to you. And, like, it's really frustrating when you try to be a straightforward person who's trying to be balanced and get the information out to the right sources, and people will literally just say, because your name's attached to that, I'm not going to listen to you. So when I say, like, you will have more of a say in the general community, it's because there's a lot of just distrust of people who actually, it's like, somebody coming from McDonald's and being like, yeah, this food's great, it's super healthy, it's going to make you fit and fast and strong.
Bias.
Yeah. So What I feel like when it's somebody like you, it definitely has more weight to it.
Yeah, I guess that. Yeah, I think there's probably the people that make the assumption that just because you bought, or they assume, oh, you probably just bought an expensive ship and you're just looking to justify it to other people.
Yeah,
I could see that.
People think I'm paid by CIG.
I've got comments like that already. Oh, you're just shilling for CIG. It's like they literally give me nothing.
Yeah,
like, if anything, I give them money. But whatever. It's funny because I'm not going to say who it is, but there was a channel who made a video complaining about the bedsheet situation. And it was like a talk. It was kind of like a podcast, and they had gameplay above them. And in the background, I'm watching this video, and I watch their channel all the time, and I love them. Gaming News. It's my gameplay.
So that is gold.
So they're using my gameplay to talk about how bad this. That you can't tell it's me unless you've watched that video. And that's
that
not
is
really
so funny.
But I was just like, the point that I got mad is like, you're complaining about a game that you haven't played yet.
Right. Not even their own gameplay.
I don't mind you saying things are bad when you've played it and you see that they're bad, but you used my gameplay, so I know that you did not play it. So, I mean, I don't really care about the fact they use my gameplay from like a content perspective. It just bugged me. It's like, and to your point, people jump on assumptions and history of this game without doing what I did, which was jump in, give it a fair chance, and see there's a lot here now. And there's a lot of bugs still, but there's also a lot here.
Yeah.
And I just, like you say, I just find it infuriating when people assume you're just trying to defend a purchase or defend a project because you think it's cool. It's like, no, I actually do enjoy this game, and it's got some really cool moments and stuff.
Yeah. If you just jump into the game, free fly event or whatever it might be, and ask yourself, is Star Citizen actually decent? I think you'll be surprised at the answer you get sometimes. For some people, some people just really think this game is in a different place than it is.
It was really funny. I was in a Discord game session, and there was someone who just, like you say, used my code, played the game for the first time, and hopped in a call. And like his experience, just listening to his experience of like, wow, there's water droplets on the ship as you're going through clouds. That's kind of cool. And like, he walked outside without his helmet on and started suffocating. Like, it's kind of funny.
It's a common one.
Everyone goes through that.
Yeah.
Learning experience and stuff. So
yeah. It's great, man. This game was a dream for me as a kid. I would play games like Mass Effect or Knights of the Old Republic or just anything space or sci-fi based, and I would always look off in like the backdrop and the distance and the different areas in the cities that you couldn't go to, and I'm like, I just want a game where I can look at all this stuff. That. Yeah. And here it is.
You can explore.
Yeah, it's great. Anyways, Ollie, I think I've taken enough of your time for today's episode. I freaking enjoyed the talk, though, man. I do hope that we get to like talk again or jump in game together.
Anytime. I'd love to talk about Star Citizen and base building.
Cool, man. For sure. Base building ships. Before I let you go, though, why don't you let everybody know where they can find you on YouTube or streaming and selling some coffee, whatever it might be.
So, I just have a YouTube channel called Olli43. That's it.
All right.
That's where I'm at. Yeah, no.
Pretty simple.
Yeah.
Do you stream on there, or do you stream?
So I have a Twitch channel, but I don't really. I wouldn't send people there just because I probably don't. I'm too busy editing videos. And
I feel that. I feel that, man.
Like, I love streaming, but it's hot. Like, this is a whole nother topic, but it's like actually so draining streaming.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think people realize how mentally draining it is to stream, and I just rather kick back and edit a video occasionally.
Yeah, streaming is rough. I'm honestly, I'm always just channels like yours where you make gameplay videos, or you're pumping out videos, dude. I'm always just like, wow, it's so cool.
Years of practice.
Yeah. That is, man, I cannot wait until I'm able to do that, because it takes me forever to edit right now. But thank you so much again for coming on to the launch sequence, man. I'm glad you've been enjoying Star Citizen. I hope it continues to be a fun thing that you can do, and you don't get burnt out before pyro.
Yeah, come back and ask me in like
do a little check-in. But yeah, man, I'll see you around on the verse. We'll stay in contact, and I do hope that you continue to enjoy your time. Enjoy Invictus Week too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And if anybody would like to listen to these podcasts live, we do them live on the Discord server every week. All supporters can come and listen to it live and ask questions and talk to the guests afterward. We also support this through our Patreon. So if you'd like to help support this podcast and keep it ad-free on all of your audio platforms, feel free to check that out in the video description below. Regardless,
because it's awesome.
Yeah, like podcast. No, please.
It's awesome.
I love, but you should start a podcast, man, so we can do some shows.
Yeah,
I like a good podcast. It's fun. But anyways, sorry.
No, sorry, I'm just terrible at podcasting because I interrupt all the time. Sorry.
Oh. I do too, as you can see. But thanks again, everyone. We'll see you next week for another great episode. Have a wonderful weekend. Or I guess this goes out on Monday. Have a wonderful week. Bye.
Bye.